New World has seen a lot of changes since the preview 1 year ago, and I will be going through the new additions to the game as fast as possible while giving you a rough idea of what to expect. You can find all patch notes down below if you want to sink your teeth into the meat. So sit back, relax, and don't forget to subscribe, because I won't disappoint you. Would also be very kind of you to leave a like and comment for that algorithm, since I am trying to reach 1k subs. First up, new weapons. New World has now 11 weapons to choose from. The first addition was a spear. It is a dexterity weapon with secondary strength scaling. It offers 2 strong CC abilities with sweep and vault kick, and offers also a lot of damage in form of bleeds. Its main function is to provide a fallback options for bows and muskets, but it can also be used as a main weapon. It also pairs very well with the rapier. Speaking of the rapier, it is also a dexterity weapon, this time with intelligence as the secondary stat. It offers a fast mobile playstyle with counterattacks in form of riposts. It also deals quite a lot of damage with bleeds, and those bleeds you can expunge with an ability. It pairs very well with the spear and bow, but the spear bleeds cannot be expunged, so just the rapier ones. The sword and shield also saw a small addition in form of a tower shield. This one is a very defensive one. It offers a lot of defenses and is the heaviest shield type in the game. The Great Axe also saw the light of the day. It scales with strength and offers a multitude of AoE abilities as well as an execute, but sadly it's not the best weapon currently. It's a little bit clunky to play as far as I gathered, and it can bring a lot of utility to the table with Reap, a pull-like ability similar to Darius' pull from League of Legends, Maelstrom, an AoE attack, so it's just one swirl and everyone that gets hit gets sucked to you, and the last one is a black hole type ability, a gravity well. You target this ability in a spot, throw it out, and it pulls enemies to its center. The last weapon is the Ice Gauntlet, and it scales only with intelligence and functions more like a zoning weapon. It can create ice storms, frost rains, and a frost pylon that functions as a turret. You can also entomb yourself in ice to become invincible for a short duration while regenerating mana. It pairs very well with the Fire Staff and the Sword and Shield to create a very defensive tank-like playstyle. New trade skills. The new trade skill introduced to the game is fishing. You can fish at fishing spots or in open water. The game differentiates between freshwater and saltwater. You can also use different types of baits to influence the outcome of your fishing. To catch a fish, you need to play a minigame. You cast a line and wait for something to bite. After you hook something, you need to reel in the fishing line with your left mouse button. To prevent it from snapping, you need to relax it by letting go of the left mouse button for a few moments. Fish can be used for cooking, collecting, and quests. Combat changes. All the weapon and skill trees saw a huge amount of changes and overhauls. Attributes got changed and have thresholds now, at which you get additional bonuses like more damage, faster mining, skinning, and more. Ability cooldowns are no longer global. They are now weapon specific. You can also equip only 2 weapons now, and stagger got removed from light and heavy attacks. This might still change since there's a lot of requests to bring it back for specific weapons and heavy attacks. Animations are now smoother, faster, and lock you less in place. And abilities and attacks can also be cancelled sooner. The input buffer for chaining attacks also got changed and allows less attacks in queue. The game also has seen the introduction of a threat system. With carnelian gems you can socket into weapons to make specific abilities generate more threat. You can socket them into gear to generate less threat. They can be acquired through ore veins and can be crafted with the stone cutting station. Other gems can be used to change the type of damage your weapon is dealing, for example arcane damage, lightning damage, and more. Healing with the life staff got changed drastically. You now lock onto players and can switch between targets with your scroll wheel. This one will enable you to heal different targets without the hassle to aim your mouse cursor and miss a lot of healing. The game also saw the addition of a crit system. Weapons now can crit with a 3 to 5% base crit chance, and this can be changed with gear, perks, and other things. Shield mechanics also got an update, increasing your overall armor, and blocking now generates threat. Tradeskill changes. Crafting as a whole got an overhaul. The game saw the addition of a massive amount of crafting recipes. Food was split into recovery and buff food, and we also saw the addition of trade skill buff food, trade skill tools, and the trade skill armor spanning 5 tiers. The usual buffs provided are improvements to the gathering speed and quality of the material you gather. They also added a bunch of rare ingredients to the game you can find by just gathering. This can be used to improve the outcome of your craft and can make named items. The recipes for those named items can also be unlocked through scrolls and one-use artifacts. Trade skills now cap at 200. Gameplay and quality of life changes and additions. So the first big change is that you can now craft and find gear at every tier, at every level. They also nerfed a bunch of power leveling tools like grouping up with higher level players that kill mobs for you. XP is now divided among your group, and enemies with 6+ levels above you instantly kill you instead of downing you, and monsters with 10+ levels above you instantly kill you at any health percent. Monsters in the world can now spawn as elite enemies. They can have up to 3 traits added to them like modifiers in ARPGs. The system gets constantly changed, so we might see more modifiers. Elite enemies also feature dynamic scaling. The world also saw the addition of additional enemy variants throughout the game. The variety of NPCs, buildings and general assets got a huge increase. Main story quests got updated to level 40, while also receiving a voiceover. Additional quests were added throughout the world with quest chains to craft your own gear. This gear is not the best, but it offers a very nice starting point for each level. Parts of the UI got revamps and changed, especially the inventory, main menu, character selection screen and more. While we are at it, the player creation also saw a bunch of new additions. New World also received an achievement system similar to World of Warcraft. Achievements can be tracked and are character specific. Titles also saw the light of the day and will be in the game. They are split into account titles and character bound titles. You can now use a quick interact social menu type thing that lets you use your favorite emotes. A controversial addition to the game are discoverable fast travel points. Using them will cost you currency, and the cost will be tied to the weight you're carrying as well as the distance you want to travel. You can travel to these points from outposts and settlements. They look like blue glowing shrines. Houses in settlements now have tiers, with each tier having different costs and benefits. The higher the tier, the higher the cost, but you're also looking at the shorter fast travel cooldown, more storage furniture, more pets and more lights. Each tier requires a specific territory standing to be purchased. The XP and leveling curve also got multiple adjustments, usually level a little bit slower. You can now also get more experience from exploring. The amount of gold a player can have also got a cap at 500k. Companies now have a cap of 5 million. Player trading is now done through a special UI window instead of, dropping the item on the ground and someone picking it up. This is to prevent scamming. General additions of armor, weapons, flora, fauna and much more also saw the light of the day. So expect a more diverse world. PvP additions. The most important additions to the PvP side of things are the return of forced PvP in open world forts. Forts are able to be captured by a faction and provide special zone-wide buffs in addition to increases to experience gains as well more influence in that zone. PvP faction missions are also a new style of content to engage with. Those missions must be completed in contested areas where both factions are fighting for the same objective. Faction missions also represent their faction a lot better now. Flag players now receive 50% less durability loss to make it not as punishing to flag. Killing flagged players also rewards faction tokens to buy items from specific vendors. The game also saw the addition of a duel system for players. They span from 1v1s to 5v5 group battles. New World also saw the addition of a new PvP mode. It's called Outpost Rush. It's a 20v20 battleground featuring a very similar gameplay structure to Arati Basin or Alterac Valley from World of Warcraft. You can have 3 outposts and can be captured in multiple objectives outside of those to provide your team with upgrades, buffs and resources. The first team to reach 1000 points wins. You can summon monsters, kill bosses to grab very strong buffs and upgrade gates as well as build cannons and much more. Territory control also got incentives added to the game. Controlling a territory now provides you with increases to gathering volume, more luck, more experience and fast travel discounts as well as other buffs. PvE Addition. In addition to quests found throughout the world, you will also be able to complete PvE faction missions. Those are multi-step missions across all territories. The game also saw the addition of 6 dungeons. Tuning orbs are required to enter them and you will be able to get the first one through a quest line. The next ones you will need to craft. The Garden of Genesis is the first expedition added, leading you into the birthplace of the Angry Earth, where players must face elemental protectors in order to penetrate the nursery's primordial heart. This dungeon is for players level 51 plus, and the entrance to this expedition is located in the northwestern part of the Eden Grove. The Amrine excavation is a dig site just west of Amrine Temple, where famed archaeologist Simon Gray and his team have been missing for some time. It's a low-level dungeon with level 25 as the requirement, and it can be found in the Everfall territory. Another expedition that can be found in the Amaran Temple is the Shattered Obelisk expedition. It's intended for level 35 players and found in the Everfall territory. The Depths are the next expedition. Captain Trope returns, and his corrupted army has made the ancient ruins below a storm tower on the peninsula of Restless Shores their base of operation. He now styles himself the Master of Tempest, the King of Corruption, and your goal is to best him. This expedition is intended for level 45 players and found in the Restless Shores. Lazarus' Instrumentality expedition is the first endgame expedition. Legatus Fulvius in Requarter wants to see a local threat neutralized. You need to combat the behemoth Cardis. Players must venture into a secret site that may hold the key to the origins of the ancient guardians to vanish this monstrous threat. This dungeon is, like I said, an endgame dungeon located in Requarter. And the last expedition, Dynasty Shipyard, is also an endgame dungeon in Ebonscale Reach. The Empress of Ebonscale is building a fleet of warships. The fleet and the Empress must be defeated for the safety of Aeternum and the world. We also got 2 new zones added to the map and ready to explore. The first one being Requarter and the second one being Ebonscale Reach. Requarter is a vast, densely wooded, supernatural swamp named by the fisherfolk. They gathered here to take advantage of the area's many prime fishing spots. The main antagonist of this zone is the Syrian Queen. You will find enemies like dryads, pirates and fiends in this area. Ebonscale Reach is a fertile territory named after the black fungus that grows here in abundance. The area is home to the remnants of a long-forgotten dynasty who must be content with the demons of their past in the form of the fallen empress. The land has an Asian touch to it and contains wetlands, waterfalls and eastern architecture. You will be able to find dynasty enemies, warriors, summoners as well as tigers in this zone. So those are the main changes the game received, and there is a lot more balancing done to the game, but it would take multiple hours to go through all of that. You can find all links to the patch notes down below, and don't forget to subscribe, like and comment as well as ring that bell. I'll try to answer all questions down in the comments. So bye and see you next time.